Welcome back to Hobby Universe Outdoors. I'm Len, and today I'm going to be using this subcompact utility tractor and that 5-foot rototiller on the back on a 3-point system to rototill a narrow but long garden area. So this is virgin ground, you would call it. It's never had a garden in it before. So as part of that process, I've got several bags of a manure compost mixture. I'm going to lay it across the top, and then when I go over it with the rototiller, it'll mix that stuff into the ground. And the reason that's going to be important, especially in this case, again, virgin ground, but also the area I'm in has very, very heavy clay soil. It does not have good drainage, and there's not a lot of nutrients. I want to give this new garden the best chance possible to succeed and to grow. So mixing that in, I really think is going to improve my chances. These are the bags of compost and manure I picked up for this project. I got 8 bags. Each bag is 40 pounds. And one of the things I wasn't looking for necessarily, but I think it may actually be a good thing, is it says it's odor free. And I really hope that's the case because I didn't give it much thought prior to buying it, but this garden's going to be really close to the house. So if I can introduce little to no stink coming in my living room window, I'd be okay with that. Little story I wanted to share regarding this compost and manure and how I ended up getting it was where I got it actually. So I'm about a half hour from the closest, what you'd consider a big town or a city, where I could go to like a Home Depot or a Lowe's or something like that. And typically that's where you'd figure you'd get something like that. But where I live, it's a real small community, a tiny little town, and we have our own hardware store, and we also have a post office. That's it. Those are the two things we have: hardware, post office, nothing more. But the little hardware store, I do everything I can to support them, and there's a couple of reasons. One, it's family owned, and I just feel like it's the right thing to do. They're really good people. They have been part of the community forever, and it's also really, really convenient for me for them to be there. So, I'm doing everything I can to help support them. That way they are secure where they're at and they'll be there. So when I need something, it's 3/4 of a mile away instead of 30 miles away. That works out really good. The hardware store has literally been in place, and I checked this before making this video, 149 years they've been there as a little hardware store. Blows my mind. I didn't even know this town was that old. 149 years. About 6 years ago, I think it was 6, something like that, the owner, an elderly gentleman, he was the guy that ran it, he had passed away unexpectedly. And when he passed, there was nobody else to run the store, and it actually closed. And myself and everybody else in the community thought, well, that must be it. That's the end of an era. That hardware store is probably going to go away. But what was actually happening was the younger generation of his family took over the store. They closed it for 10 months. They got rid of a lot of the old shelving and a lot of the dated fixtures and things like that. Cleaned it up. They left the old floor. They left old windows and a lot of the other stuff that gave it character. That really, really old, interesting character. That stayed. But anyway, the shelving and all that stuff came out. They replaced it with new. They reconfigured how it was laid out. Huge inventory. It's absolutely amazing how much variety they were able to get in this small store. I've been going there for the past 5 years now, and literally not once have I gone to get something there that they didn't have. I've never struck out. That in itself just blows my mind. So just wanted to talk a little bit about that. If you've got a little locally owned, family owned hardware store, and if it's convenient for you, even if it's going to cost you a couple bucks more, I absolutely think you should support them. And for what it's worth, these bags of compost and manure, I checked, same price as what I would have paid at a big box store. I didn't expect that. I would have been willing to pay just a little bit more for the convenience. I didn't even have to pay more. I feel really strongly about supporting those small businesses. So anyway, we're going to head over and I'm going to show you the area that we're going to be rototilling. This is the area I'm going to be rototilling. It's going to start at this first corner post, and it's going to run the entire length up until we get to the gate post up here. So 5 foot wide, about 50 feet in length. I didn't measure it, but I'm going to guess it's probably like 50 feet long. And the goal is to plant several flowers. I'm thinking sunflowers, and we're going to stagger them and just try to get it really thick through here with those. One, because I think it'd look pretty cool, but also I'm trying to give a little bit of privacy between this fence and the road. And the reason for that is actually because My dogs that hang out in here, they see a FedEx truck, a UPS truck, God forbid, a garbage truck go up the road. They just lose their minds and they start barking. Drives me nuts. So I'm hoping that having a little bit of a barrier between this fence and them being able to see the road will help keep them quiet. The plan is to drag a bag towards the front of the skid, slice it open, and then dump the contents out in front of the tractor, rake it around a little bit, back up, and do that again so that I get that nice even layer across the top of what's going to be a garden. Now that I look at the number of bags that I have and the area that I want to cover, I feel like I probably did not buy enough bags. I should have calculated. I didn't do that. I thought, 8 bags, that's going to be plenty. I think I was way off. I believe I'm going to be really, really short. So there's probably another trip to the hardware store in my future. But I'm going to burn through the 8 bags that I have. And then based on that and what kind of coverage I get, I'll be able to calculate how many more bags I'm going to need to go get. I just put down 3 bags, and those 3 bags covered a single span. So between fence posts, took 3 bags. I actually have a total of 7 spans that I need to cover for this entire area. So just as I suspected, that 8 bags is not going to be nearly enough. I actually need a total of 21. Now I kind of got to hurry because I want to get back to the hardware store before they close. They close in about a half hour. So it doesn't take me too long to empty these out. I'm just going to do that real quick, and I'm going to get on the tractor and head back to the hardware store and get the balance so that way we can get this wrapped up today. Made it to the hardware store before they closed. I got 16 more bags. That should be a little bit more than what I actually need, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. So if I get done and I still have a bag or 2 left, I'll just go ahead and sprinkle them all along and just kind of evenly spread that extra out. So I did put down all 24 bags. Turns out I didn't have more than I needed. I thought I was going to have a few bags of surplus. That was not the case. So I am glad that I ended up getting those 3 extra above what I calculated. I think I was a little bit heavy in this area. Maybe that's what happened. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to take my rake and I'm going to knock these piles down a little bit. Cosmetically, it doesn't matter what they look like. This isn't the finished product, but I do want to distribute them a little bit more evenly. So that way, when I get into it with the rototiller and start to turn that into the soil, it's a lot more even throughout. Got everything raked. It's even enough. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm just going to go in there and tear it up with the rototiller anyway and kind of stir it into the soil. So far, I'm really pleased with how this is turning out. This is exactly what I wanted to see. This soil and heavy with clay broke up really nice. It's really fine. And we did get that manure and compost stirred in. It just worked out absolutely perfect. So those results are outstanding. I'm pretty happy with that. The only thing that concerns me is, I had that grass that had grown up between fall and spring of this year because I did, again, rototill it last fall. So it's not a huge deal, but I think what I'm going to do is once I'm done, I'm going to go through with my rake and I'm just going to rake up any clumps of grass like this I can find and get that stuff out of here. And then hopefully that helps prevent that stuff from growing when we're trying to get the flowers to grow. I'm really, really happy with these results. This is exactly what I was hoping to see. The dirt is very fine, and that compost and manure is mixed in really well. So again, exactly what I was hoping to see. And I do have a little bit of work to do with the rake. I've got this end spot right here where I finished, and the rototiller just dug a little bit of a divot. Not a big deal. I can knock that down with my rake inside of a couple minutes. I'm also going to take the rake and go over the entire garden. Again, I got to get some of the grass and roots or anything like that out of there. I believe that's going to help prevent a lot of that stuff from growing as the year goes on. And I did want to talk real quick also about the type of rototiller I used and why I feel that might have given me a better result. So most rototillers that you'll see are a forward rotation. So the tines are going to roll forward. So as they dig in, the rototiller is going to move forward and it's going to kick that soil behind the rototiller. Absolutely normal. That's what you're going to see most of the time. The rototiller that I have is actually a reverse rotation. So what's different there is those tines are going to spin backwards. So they're actually going to fight the tractor. As you're moving forward, they're digging reverse. What that does is that kicks the soil that you've tilled forward. So then the tines of the rototiller hit that soil again, and it's going to hit that same soil over and over and over before it finally passes out the back. To me, I feel like that's going to give a finer result. I don't know if that's why I got such excellent results here. Maybe a forward rotation would have done the same thing. Never did a side-by-side comparison. Not really too worried about it, but I did want to mention the reverse rotation rototiller is an option. Well, that's going to do it. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Now all I've got to do is get those sunflower seeds in the ground and planted. The goal is to get as many growing as possible along that entire width. And a couple reasons for that. I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Provide some privacy between that fence and the road, blocking the dogs' visibility. Maybe they won't get as excited when they see vehicles go by. But really the main reason for me is I like sunflowers. A couple years ago I went by a field. I don't remember exactly where it was, but I'll never forget it was full of sunflowers. I mean, it was actually a crop. I thought that was really cool, and the color was just beautiful. So I thought I'd try a little bit of that right here. And in the fall, I'll be able to take those sunflowers, harvest them, and dry them, and then I can put them out for the birds to snack on throughout the winter. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you learned something. If you like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Again, thanks for taking the time to watch. I appreciate it. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day.